Hello everyone, welcome back to Spinning Iris. Just felt like doing this. These I got fairly recently at AwesomeCon this year. When I went, I hadn't really planned on buying books. I mean, I've bought books before from AwesomeCon. I got some really cool graphic novels the last time. It's funny, I walked into the show floor and was like, I wonder how many books I'll go home with today. I hadn't really planned on it. But first thing I bought, I think was like within the first hour. Really great. Really great. From the table, would you like a free bookmark? It's like, sure. And then he says, let me tell you about my book. It's Lord of the Rings meets Frankenstein. Tell me more. So yeah, great way to sell your book there. That's one of the things that I've noticed going to cons, that there is a way to sell your... At cons you'd get a lot of, I guess, independent authors. You do get some of the more popular authors. I know at this last one, Timothy Zahn was there, famous for writing Star Wars novels. This is the one that's on my spin tag list currently that has not been picked yet. I hadn't really planned on going to see him, because I don't know his work. But it was really great that he was there. Peter David has been there before. I hope he comes again. But a lot of the authors there are independent authors, or just smaller authors that haven't gotten that huge attention yet. I think G.D. Faulkson was that one once. So this was the first book that I bought. Flesh of the Blood by E.A. Shannon. It's probably Shannon. She hooked in with his bookmark and his partner, who was dressed in costume. They weren't with the other authors. They were kind of in a prime location towards the entrance. Great way to grab people who were just coming in, but you're not with the other authors, so you're not, you know, sort of swarming people. I have started this one. I think I'm up kind of, yeah, but I've just finished chapter 3. It's fascinating. So it's a world similar to Lord of the Rings. There are many different races. These two fellas are apparently not the main characters. The main character is a badass lady who I'm not sure if I've met her yet, but that'll be interesting when I do. Because this is a series of books. I'm not sure if he's got a list in here of them. I mean, the map in here kind of resembles Scotland a little bit in terms of shape. I'm not sure about landscape. Just a simple map. So I'd be very curious to see how this actually goes. Because there's also dragons in this series, apparently, which I can't wait to get to. So yeah, I ended up buying it. Got a little autograph, and it came with a print of the cover as well, which shows off the nice feature of the castle in the background. So yeah, good salesman. Not too pushy, friendly, and very confident in what he was writing about. Also, that was either the first or second, was the second day. I think we finally got around to the back where the authors were. Some of them are really, there are good ways and not so great ways of attracting people to your booth, to look at your work, to look at your books. Because it's easy with actual artwork, so you can hang it up and people can see it. You can put little displays at the front so you can turn pages and look at it. It's a little different with books. You have to either show it with the artwork, with the cool cover, or cool descriptions of what your work is about, unless you're famous and people already know that your stuff is good. This one author, they said, do you like Asian-inspired fantasy? I don't not like Asian-inspired fantasy. I haven't read much of it. Listened to a little bit of the spiel that day. kind of there for other things, kind of in a rush. So he said, not right now. We'll come back. And then he gave my sister a sample of his writing. Just like I think it was probably like maybe a chapter. And she read it on the way home. And if she liked it, that means there's something there, because she's not a reader. There's something there that hooked her. And that author is J.C. Kang, and his novel, Songs of Insurrection. The dragon singers of old summoned typhoons and routed armies, liberating mankind from the orcs before fading into legend. Now, with the world again facing a new cataclysm, the power of music stirs in Kaya, a naive misfit from the perfect voice. With a perfect voice. So basically, music being used as a weapon in an interesting fantasy world. This is Dragon Songs, the Dragon Songs Saga. So this is also part of a series. So they have come up with something magical. And this is some gorgeous artwork here as well. I got that one signed as well. This one also, where is it? Came with a print as well of the cover art, as well as some extra artwork on the back. I like these size prints. They're a little awkward, but it's a good size and it's good thick paper. But J.C. Kang was sharing his booth with someone else, and he's like, "So, want to hear about my book?" This one, I forget how this one was described. It was like fantasy with a little hint, I think, of Star Wars or Star Trek. I don't remember how he described it, but it's almost like Star Wars, maybe a little bit of oh god, what is that thing called? Starship Troopers. At least that's kind of the vibe I got with the cover. This Divinity's Twilight, Rebirth. So this one's more sci-fi than fantasy. They've definitely created a world, I guess, slightly familiar? I don't know. It sounded interesting when they were talking about it. I just don't remember what they said about it. So it's a little bit fantasy, a lot of sci-fi. I say sci-fi. This one also came with a print, which is more of a poster. There's a few different ones. I went with the spaceship, because I thought it was cool. Divinity's Twilight by Christopher Russell. So yeah, I went home with 3 original works. Let's see. Threw their card in there, as well as a bookmark with examples of the other artwork. 3 authors who did a good job of grabbing and selling me their work. There was a couple of others booths that I stopped at. One guy's novel, another fantasy author. I didn't buy it. One of the first things he asked was, "Do you like fantasy? Are you into D&D?" I'm not into Dungeons and Dragons, unfortunately. I'm sort of curious about Dungeons and Dragons, but not enough to go out of my way to do it. Just not right at this moment. I have too much to do. His novel, it sounded okay. It just sounded like a D&D campaign that he put to paper, which is fine. I'm very, very specific when it comes to buying fantasy and sci-fi. If it sounds too much like something that I've already read, then I'll generally skip it. And there was another one in the novel alley, I call it. It was this 2 just kind of sitting at their booth and say, "You will come to our booth, you will buy our books." I'm like, no. We'll pass this way again later. Maybe. Didn't stop at their booth. I was just a little too pushy. And it's a shame with some of the other authors too. Sometimes you just want a free bookmark? Let me tell you about my story. I just might buy your book. Those weren't the only books that I bought. There was another books. It was a bookseller. Third Eye book? No. Solid State Books in DC. So booksellers, they gave me their bookmark. They had set up a booth to basically, I guess, sell sci-fi and other good sci-fi fantasy and whatnot. Just stopped to see what they had. They had some interesting sci-fi, and in this case, interesting mystery. The Decagon House Murders by Yukito Ayatsuji, a Japanese cult classic mystery. So this is some classic mystery from 1987. And apparently it was kind of inspired by Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. At least that's the way the person at the booth described it. And just reading the back, it does sound very much like And Then There Were None, so I'm very curious to see what this author did with that story and how they made it their own. Mostly my sister, who was looking at that table, like, I don't know if I want to get this. I don't know. It's like, I'll buy it. That'll be mine, and you can read it whenever. The other one I bought, kind of an odd one. This is Network Effect by Martha Wells. Apparently, Martha Wells has got a bit of a following with this series. It's a Hugo and Nebula Award-winning series featuring Murderbot. That's what sold me on this, was just the name of this character, Murderbot. From what I'm guessing, it's a little mystery, a little action, all with an AI. And it's a standalone novel, so if I enjoy this, I can continue my adventures with Murderbot with the other stories in the series. Apparently there are 4 more, at least. So yeah. I have not read anything from Martha Wells, so this will be very much fun. And then the last books I bought, there are some lovely graphic books. Books that are kind of hard to get, aside from Amazon and probably eBay. But there are ones that I've kind of had on my wish list for a while. And that is volume 18 and 19 of Clamp's Holic series. I think I still need volume 17. I love this series so much. This series is what got me reading manga. I remember seeing one of, I think it was the Holic movie that was done a while back, and I was wondering, this is so weird. What am I watching? And then I found volume 1 at Library Fundraiser, this very, very used, I think it was a very, very well-loved library copy. The corners were missing, the spine was very broken. It's like, it's volume 1. If I like it, I'll look for more. And I love Holic. Yuko is one of my favorite literary characters, by far. And Watanuki is also just a wonderful character as well. So this is near the end of the series too. I think there might be a couple more here as well. But yeah, so now I have 2 more volumes for this beautiful series, and I can't wait to jump into these again. I think I still got either stuck on 15 or 16 because, things were getting so sad. Not a bad little haul for a convention. I could have been so much worse. Yeah, I definitely could have been so much worse. But maybe next year. I went to this convention with a plan, and books were not the plan, but I still ended up with quite a few. Alright, that's all I got for now. Take care. Bye.